Okay, so in this part of the lab, we're going to be looking at a ray box that has one single ray of light. So in this case, it's a laser beam. And that laser beam is going to bounce off of a plane mirror, a flat mirror. It's going to be reflected. And our goal is to measure the angle of incidence, which is the angle that the incoming ray makes with the perpendicular to the mirror, and the angle of reflection, which is the angle that the outgoing ray makes with the perpendicular to the mirror. So right now I have the incoming ray. Then I'm going to hold up a flat mirror. It's called a plane mirror. I'll show you guys this later. I know it's hard to see, but I want to make sure that you can see the rays here. So now it's bouncing off the mirror and it's being reflected back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace the edge of the mirror. So I'm just going to trace the front of the mirror. And then I'm going to trace the incoming and outgoing rays. But I'm going to do that just by putting dots right now. And then later I will connect the dots with a ruler so this is more exact. So something like that. Okay, let me turn on the light and show you what this looks like. Okay, so I'm going to take a ruler now. So this line right here is where the mirror was. This was the incoming ray, so the incoming beam of light. So something like that. It was going in this direction. And then this was the outgoing ray. So something like that. It was going in that direction. And then I want to measure again with respect to the perpendicular to the mirror. So to do that, I'm going to take a protractor. Right where they intersect, that's going to be my 0, and I'll draw a line at 90 degrees from there. Let me make sure that this is correct. So this is going to be my perpendicular to the mirror. Okay, so to measure the incident ray, I want to measure the angle that the incoming ray makes with that perpendicular. So again, I'll just do this with a protractor. And it looks like, it's going to be hard to get this exact, but it looks like it's around 21, let's say 20, I'll round to the nearest degree, let's say 22 degrees. Okay, so this angle right here is 22 degrees. Then I'm going to measure the angle of reflection. So that's the angle that the reflected ray makes with the perpendicular. And I'm getting maybe a little bit less, let's say 21.5 degrees. Which is pretty close actually, so 21.5 degrees. And of course, as you know, theoretically, the angle of incidence should equal the angle of reflection. So I did one of these for you guys. I'm going to give you the other values for 3 other particular angles. And then I'm going to have you compute the ratio of the angle of reflection to the angle of incidence, and then compare that to the gold standard, which in this case should be 1, right? So you want to compare your ratio to the gold standard of 1. Great.